Hi everyone, join me today as we discuss the back to school time period many of us are in right now and how we can make this a fun and smooth transition for our children. I'm really happy to be making this video. I've never done this before, but it was requested. I am by no means a guru on the back to school season. This would be my third year going into it, but I do think that I have curated a little list here of practical tips and topics that can make this season a smooth one for us moms or parents in general. So the 5 topics I want to discuss today are reestablishing our routines, organizing school supplies and clothing, traditions, setting goals and discussing expectations, as well as planning meals and healthy snacks for school lunches and for after school. So we'll start with number 1, reestablish routines. It's important to do this because after a long and relaxed summer schedule, children may find it a little bit challenging to get back into the structured routine of school. So some ways that we can reestablish routines would be gradual transitions. So we can start by waking our kids up a little bit earlier every day and putting them to bed a little bit earlier. For me personally, I kept the same bedtime all summer and my kids wake up early, and I did this on purpose, and moving forward I fully plan to do that as well so that I don't really have to worry about the struggle of easing them back in. I'm sure as they get older they'll stay up later, but I found just sticking to the normal bedtime worked well for us. But if you haven't done that, just start now, and you'll just want to adjust the time every day until they get to the point that they're waking up at the same time you need them to get up for their school schedule. My next tip as far as reestablishing routines is to have a consistent schedule. So make sure that you are sticking to it consistently now that it's the end of the summer. Like I said in the first point, you do want to practice this, but you want to keep it consistent. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Something else that I've also started doing with my kids is practicing 25-minute lunches. This was an issue for us last school year because both of my children were coming home with their lunchbox still half full. My kids will take an hour to eat a meal. They have mastered the art of not just eating but dining, but at school we can't dine. We just need to eat and do it quickly. So practicing, it's been fun for us, but really important. When we do this, there's no TV on. I will play music. We'll all talk, but they know that the main focus is to get the food down. It never feels rushed. They always finish with plenty of time to spare, but I think practicing is just important so that you don't end up in the same situation we were in last year. And then the last tip would be to practice school mornings. So have them get up early like you would on a school morning. Practice getting dressed, whether they do it on their own. Practice cooking breakfast in the morning and having them eat under a certain amount of time, and practice getting out of the door so that nothing is foreign and it's not much of a panic or a rush. For me personally, I hate rushing. So if my kids know what's up, it's a lot easier than me saying like, hurry up, we got to get up early now. We got to keep moving. So I find that practicing things makes it a lot easier. So now we'll move on to number 2, which is organizing school supplies and their clothing. It's important that we're intentional about this because being organized can reduce stress and help children feel more prepared and confident. So what I did was an inventory check on all of Sebastian's school clothes. They have a very strict dress code, not a uniform, of certain colors and things that they are and are not allowed to wear. So I went through his clothing, pulled it all out, and made a list of what we are going to reuse for this year and what needs to be replaced or repurchased. So like I said, Sebastian has a dress code. As far as tops, they can wear a t-shirt or a polo shirt. It has to be solid, no heathered material. If it's not a solid t-shirt, it has to be a school spirit approved shirt. Our school's really good about anytime there's an event like field day or something at the school, they'll give a t-shirt out and they can wear school spirit any day of the week. That's what this is. And then it seems like we kept everything pretty nice from last year, so I'm not getting rid of any of his shirts going into this school year, but I did grab him some new ones. We like to go on primary for school shirts because they have a Kelly green and it's hard to find. This white one is a Target polo from the uniform section, and then these two are Old Navy from the uniform section. We also have just plain t-shirts. These are all from primary, and then we have an Old Navy white one. We typically get our shorts for him from when he was younger. It was always Cat and Jack, but when he got into the boys section at Target, he can't fit any of it. So Old Navy shorts, a pair of these obviously in black, khaki, and we have a gray pair, and then we have a couple other shorts from primary as well that are in the laundry. And for every color shorts he has a pair of pants. They can wear denim. If you guys are looking to know where we shopped for these, again, it's mostly Old Navy and I think Target. Yes, something else we get new every year for Bash because we cannot make it more than one school year is new shoes. Brendan bought him a pair of Jordans, and these have the Velcro thing here because we're still working on tying our shoes and I don't want to be a burden for his teacher. I don't know what these are. They're Nikes, but I don't know what kind of Nikes. I don't know anything about shoes. It says Air inside. This year, we're also going to be reusing Sebastian's backpack and lunchbox. These are from Pottery Barn, and we have the glow-in-the-dark dinosaur one. As you can see, we got it monogrammed here. The lunch bag has a side pocket for the drinks. The backpack does as well. And then you have a zipper here and one here on the inside. I'm covering up my phone number. We purchased this, I think it's bento, but I could be wrong, but it's also from Pottery Barn. A quick tip about this lunchbox and bag. This is a nightmare to get out of here. So I folded up a microfiber cloth and laid it in the bottom so that this didn't sit all the way down into here, and he was able to pop it out and take the box out himself. But this will be our second year using these bags and we love them. I was hoping to get at least 2 years out of them, and we will, so that's great. As far as Margot, she starts school after Labor Day, so we have basically another month after Sebastian starts school. I did attempt to go back to school clothes shopping for her, but many of the stores were like come back in a week and we'll have more things out. So I can show you a couple of the things that I purchased her. Old Navy was having a sale and they had a ton of these little dresses for $4. So I got her 5 of these. She's been wearing them, so the rest are in the laundry. I also grabbed her this little dress. I think this one was on sale for $6 or $8. It has like a tulle bottom and like a ribbed top. I got her 5 tees and almost everything, even though she's a 4T, because I want her to be able to wear it in the spring. And then we walked over to Gap. I grabbed her this dress from the Baby Gap section. And again, 5T. I loved this dress. I thought it was so cute. It was not on sale when I bought it in the store, but I looked on their website yesterday and it's $17 now. So if you like this, I would grab it if you can before they pop it back up to $34, because it's kind of ridiculous. As far as the first day of school, she's gonna wear this cute little dress from Stitchy Fish. And she saw this and said, I want the one with the apples. I love the apples. And I think it's super cute. It's very classic. She'll have it with this red grosgrain bow, and then she'll wear ruffle socks and some red sientas. Next, we did some shopping together for his school supplies. So if possible, take your kids shopping for some new school supplies and their new school clothes. Involving them in the process can make even the shyest child more excited about the school year to come. Another tip I have is to label everything. If your school wants you to label certain items, follow their guidelines on that. Otherwise, label like their lunch boxes, their backpacks, their jackets, anything that they're going to take that they can lose and that you need them to bring home. And then for after school, I would create a designated space where they can put their backpack and their lunchbox, and that's where they house it when they come home. That way you're not searching in the morning for this item or that item. You know exactly where it's at every day, and then if they need to get something out of it, they go to it, but they leave the bag and everything there. So we have a little haul tree at our back door. Then me and Brandon will take his lunchbox from there and empty it out. We also know to go to the backpack to get the folder or the agenda out to sign it, and then we put it back in. We don't take it all around the house. Next, I want to discuss traditions. This is my favorite topic. I just love making special memories for my kids. I'm going to share a couple of the things that we do. The first being the first day of school picking. You're probably thinking, we all take first day of school pictures of our kids, like you're not sharing anything groundbreaking. Stick with me here because I do this a little bit differently and I'll explain why. But first, I think it's so important to take a first day of school photo. It documents the passage of time, it makes for great memories, and it creates a visual record for your child's growth. So if you're not taking school pic, that's why you might want to try it. So what I do, take my kids out a few days before the first day of school. I lay out their outfits and I'll take them outside and shoot unofficial first day of school photos. And that's so that we can get all the poses, the angles, and not feel rushed to get a really nice shot on their first day. I've been doing this for 3 years and it has taken so much pressure off of me. Margot loves to pose and get into the photos, and you just don't have that kind of time on the first day of school. And because I do this early, I can make sure that the quality of the photos are great. We do snap a couple pics on the very first day so that I can just stand next to them or Brandon can get into it, but it's mainly about them. And I don't want them to feel pressured or stressed or annoyed with me because they're already nervous about the first day and I'm trying to get a photo. Something else that I like to do, and a lot of people do this, is we have a sign that it's like an apple. We've also used a balloon in the past that just says like what year they're in, their age, and then we flip it over at the end of the school year and take last day of school pics. Another tradition that I do is have a special breakfast, and we've done donuts, I think we've done cinnamon rolls, pancakes with sprinkles on them, and then I made on Canva these little toothpick signs that are like back to school themed, and I stick them in. I also created this back to school themed table setting, so the plate looked like an apple and there was like a pencil, and I made it myself with some Sharpie and cardstock, and it was just cute and fun, and they love that. So that's something else I like to do to just add a little bit more fun to the first day of school morning. And then lastly, something else we've done ever since Sebastian's first year of pre-K, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but he went twice, is we do a family morning drop-off, and it's just like a fun morning to bond. We pray, we listen to music, and just have that special time. It's so sweet. I've cried every year. It's just fun, and I look forward to doing that again this year. All right, moving right along to number 4, which is setting goals and discussing our expectations for the year. It's important to do this because it can motivate children and give them a sense of direction, and this is for any age. So as far as goal setting, we can help our children set some realistic academic and personal goals for the school year. This could include improving in a particular subject, making new friends, or even starting a new extracurricular activity. For Sebastian, that is reading an entire chapter book series. He's read chapter books before, but we've not done, from the first book to the last, and I think that that will be very exciting for him. And Margot's goal is to learn to read, which I'm excited to teach her this year, and to join a soccer team like her big brother. And then expectations, and obviously this gets more in depth as your kids get older, but you can discuss your expectations regarding your children's homework, their grades, and their behavior, and make sure that in an age appropriate way we explain to our children what's expected of them. So for me, with Sebastian's school, they don't really have homework. Everything's done at school, which is great for now, but I'm not overly concerned about grades as long as they are doing their best and trying their hardest. Anything beyond that, I will help them where I need to. He's still young, so grades aren't necessarily at the forefront. However, I do have expectations for how he is at school, and that is to be kind, to listen to his teachers, be a good friend, and to always use his manners. And I think he knows that because he got the Marvelous Manners Award at the end of last school year. But those are things that are non-negotiable for us. And the same goes for Margot as well. And then lastly, I think it's important that we encourage our children with open communication. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but obviously we want to encourage our little ones to come to us with any of their concerns or anxieties, whether it's about going into school or anything that's happening at school, with friends, with teachers, anything. So personally, what I did is let my kids know, hey, look, if you ever need a private chat, just say, I need a private chat, and we can go behind a closed door and discuss anything. We had several of them last year, and while most of the topics were not that serious, they were serious to my kids, including Margot, who did this with me, and I was just a listening ear. I didn't judge them. I didn't force any opinions on them, and I let them really tell me how they wanted to work it out, and I guided them through their concerns and issues that they were having. I love that they know that I'm a safe and judgment-free space for them. And lastly, I just want to discuss planning meals and snacks for after school and during school. Obviously, we know that proper nutrition is crucial for maintaining energy levels, concentration, and overall well-being. So obviously, if possible, starting with a balanced breakfast. So for our first day of school, we typically have like a treat style breakfast with like donuts or cinnamon rolls, but then we also balance that out with a protein like eggs or a breakfast meat, as well as some fruit. My kids eat fruit with just about every meal, especially breakfast. But having a hearty breakfast every morning is important to me, especially, as I mentioned earlier, my kids don't always finish their lunch at school, so I need them to have at least one good solid meal to kind of carry them through their day, just in case they don't finish their lunch. And then moving on to school lunches, obviously if they're eating the school food, they're handling the nutrition aspect, and it's usually pretty balanced. Most of the time we just made Sebastian's lunches, but there were times he liked the school food and he would get it, and I never had an issue with like how they were, balancing nutrition. And then we always made Margot's, but we like to pack their lunches with nutritious foods and snacks that they are able to open themselves, because that is important, and we like to include them in choosing the foods that go into their lunch so that they're a little bit more excited about eating a healthy meal. And then as far as afternoon snacks, this is when they come home from school. I have made it my goal this year to, at the beginning of the week, create 1 to 2 healthy and nutritious from scratch snacks that they can eat after school. I'm just gonna let you in on my paranoia. I'm getting more and more freaked out by the chemicals and the recalls I'm seeing about the different foods that are on the shelves at our grocery store. Many of us know Pinterest is a great source for from scratch baking, after school snacks, and things that are nutritious for our kids. Also TikTok, we get lunch food ideas for the kids as well. TikTok is actually amazing for that. And I can share some accounts that we followed last year and some Pinterest links down below for anyone who might be a little stuck on what we can feed our kids for lunch this year. But that is the end of my video. I hope that this was helpful to anyone looking for some back to school content. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.